Levels IO would be a great example of this, right? He uses jQuery. He just hosts it. He raw dogs hosts that bad boy. He doesn't necessarily care about any of. He doesn't like code craftsmanship is not a thing that he enjoyed. And this was before AI was a thing, right? He's made millions of dollars off of software that probably wasn't the world's greatest handwritten artisanal code of all time. Yet he was able to make a whole bunch of money and able to do what he loves to do before AI was a big advent. And now that AI is a huge part of our programming, he continues to build what he wants to build, but now he uses AI a whole bunch because his version of joy of programming comes from completing of the project. Now that's a very different experience. Not everybody has that experience. For me, joy of programming comes more from programming than it does from finishing the product. So these are very different experiences. But I will say that this last line right here, the fundamental human understanding of programming are definitely going to become desecrated. I already feel that myself, right? Whenever I build something and I don't write it, I just try to like vibe it out because I don't want to do, like, say the front end. I'm like, just give me a front end. I don't really care what it looks like. I always end up regretting it. And then I feel this like resistance to learn what it is because I don't really want to finish it. And so it becomes, I totally understand this. And I can imagine that me as somebody who is a generalist who really understands many forms of programming and really, really gets things, if I feel that hesitancy to just jump in and doing stuff, then I can imagine that it's worse. It is worse, especially for juniors who don't have that same level of instant understanding that I would have after years of doing this. Chapter 1, my coworker, the programmer, a shell of a man, more of a parrot than a person, my boss, a true believer in the sacred right of pair programming. I hate pair programming. Chained myself and this programmer colleague together like conjoined twins from different planets. We shared a keyboard, but not a brain. Lord, not even close. Hold up, I've got an idea. Give me the keyboard real quick. An idea, yes. The same way a toddler has an idea. To stick a fork in a wall socket. I was halfway through constructing something beautiful. A lean, elegant piece of logic that sliced through complexity like a blade through butter. And here he comes, pounding the keyboard like it owes him money. Pasting in code from Frankenstein from Stack Overflow comment written by Uncle Bob Disciple in 2014. Did he know what the system did? No. Did he read the ticket? Absolutely fucking not. Did he feel confident mutating global state with reckless abandon? He absolutely fucking did. By the way, I hate pair programming. I have never once thought programming itself, or I mean, maybe I guess you could have convinced me of this 17 years ago that programming itself was like a part that would be beneficial to pair programming and that it would be good. But I've never really had the same thing. It's like, here, I'll just solve a problem. You can review it and tell me if it's good or not. That's code reviews for me. I don't, like, pair programming is just not going to really do a lot for me. I don't know. I hate it. Anyways, so I feel this pain. I absolutely feel this pain very, very much. And you know what the worst part is? Have you ever pair programmed with somebody? And let's just pretend that you can type really well and they can't. Pair debugging is good. I like pair debugging. Pair debugging is really, really good because you're pooling collective experience together to solve a problem. And you both can do it at the same time and talk to each other about what you're finding. Pair programming, you can't do that. It's much, much different. Not a big fan. Not a big fan at all. I forgot what I was going to say, but I feel this guy's pain. I'm doing some refactoring, tightening the bolts, cleaning up componentries, realigning the chakras of the system. Good old-fashioned chakrasing. Suddenly, hey, I've added a use effect that refreshes everything when anything changes. Cool, right? Why? I asked, blinking like a hostage on a tape sent home from the military operation gone wrong. I fixed the thing, he says, where the thing wasn't working. It's working now. A chaos monkey disguised as a teammate. No test, no profiling, no understanding of the side effects or performance impact, just blind clicking and tapping and typing. The programming equivalent of punching your TV to make the static stop. I will say that this is a first good step. And what I mean by that is that often doing the dumbest possible solution can be a good thing. in the sense that you get at least an idea of where the problem is not. He knows that if he does a full refresh of everything, whatever problem is wrong, okay, good, good. We now know that something is there. So what's the problem? Where's the difference? You just don't want to stop at the simplest, most shortcut solution because it can be very naughty. Turn your program on and off again. Exactly. And as he did this with everyone, a one-man bug factory, whispering half-formed solutions into the ears of juniors like a sick, twisted full-stack Rasputin. Apparently, friendly fire will be tolerated. Dang. Calling him a full-stack Rasputin might be the most insane burn I've ever read in my entire lifetime. The system explodes. Nothing deploys. The UI is frozen like vegetables in my freezer I was supposed to defrost 8 years ago. And where's my dear co-pilot? Nowhere. He's vanished. Probably reading about a new shiny JS framework that he'll try to shove down my throat next week. Meanwhile, I'm left spelunking through callback hell with a flashlight made of regret. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. That's a pretty good state. I want a flashlight made of regret. This is fantastic. My boss corners me. Why aren't you pairing more with him? He types twice as fast as you. Of course he does. So does a cat having a seizure on a mechanical keyboard, but that doesn't mean it should be writing production code. True. Speed of the code you write isn't necessarily the most important thing. If you're not using your brain for when you're typing, then that's a problem. I always highly recommend, by the way, learning how to type fast. As side note, sidebar, get to 80 words a minute. The reason why I say this is not because I'm saying that typing fast is going to make a huge impact in the speed in which you're writing, but even if it does, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you don't have to use thinking power to execute your ideas, and that is really important. People looking at the keyboard, if you have to look at the keyboard, just remember that is time spent thinking that you just don't want to do. Just don't spend your brain power. You know what I mean? Don't spend brain power literally searching on a keyboard. Yeah, I always disagree at this point, but I didn't know you were talking about 80 plus. I think 80 is a good place to at least shoot for. 80 is a good place to shoot for. And brain power is it's not about speed. It's about the ability not to have to consider every one of your actions you take on your fingers. That spends mental capacity. Whether you like it or not, you are a finite being that has a finite amount of ability. The more autopilot you can do something, the better. Right? It's just true. I don't care what anyone says. It doesn't make any sense to not believe that, right? It just seems crazy. Right? It just seems crazy to think that you can just do an activity of searching all the time and it makes no fatigue into your body. What's my words per minute? I think I recently got a bit of a high score. I got a bit of a high score on the 15-second one. Oh man, I'm going to type this bad. I hate typing in front of people. I have this thing where I hate typing in front of people. Dang it. Screwed that up. All right, there you go. Screwed that up. Teach is better. Teach has always been better. Whew. My heart's a pounding. I hate typing in front of people. Anyways. Okay. Okay. I kept pushing myself, learning infrastructure, refining my mental model, sweating over trade-offs, and he Googled, he skimmed, he pasted. Occasionally, he showed off a clever trick, half-corrected and contextless. Yet the team would ooh and ah like a caveman discovering fire. And I got lazy, of course I did. When the system forces you to code with a hallucinating clown, eventually you stop resisting. You let him type. You let him be productive. You check out. You surrender your brain to the noise and just float. Dude, I feel exactly where this is going. I feel it. I totally get this. I feel you, buddy. Man, this guy types fast. This coworker of yours types super fast. But man, is he wrong. I cannot tell you. I'm now using Super Maven again, right? There you go. I'm now using Super Maven again. But man, I will tell you this much. I still get more bugs when I let Copilot run than me coding it. Just because I accept things and they look correct. It's just my deep thinking through every piece of code isn't quite there, and so I end up just letting things sneak by that I normally wouldn't do, right? And it feels so painful, but I will never write. I've decided as part of like my life goal that I will never ever write another slog statement ever again in my lifetime. I Google or Copilot, or not Copilot, Super Maven is in fact going to write it for me. I will never do it again. Manually typing print statements is just killing me on the inside. Captain Obvious here to save the day. I wasn't talking about a programmer. I was describing GitHub Copilot or Claude Codex or OpenAI in IMNOP 6.5 Ultra Watermelon. True. I know Ultra Watermelon pretty good, I'd say. This isn't about tools or productivity or acceleration. It's about the illusion of progress. Because if that programmer, if that thing, that creature walked into your stand-up in human form, typing half-correct garbage into your code base while ignoring your architecture and disappearing during cleanup, you'd fire them before they could say no blockers. Truing. That's because the cleanup and everything is based on you. Also, I do feel that the acceleration and the feeling fast does come from people who never learned how to program very well. Just throwing that out there. This article just got 88.78% better. Yeah. True. I think that a lot of people's wow with AI is inversely proportional to their ability to program. I don't think that that's like a bad statement to make. Like I find there's things that are nice about it. I don't ever have to write CSS again. That's great. But I wrote CSS for a decade and I don't want to write CSS. I hate CSS. I don't want to write logging statements. I want something to just write a logging statement for me. I know what I want to log. I never want to think about that ever again. And I think that a lot of people that are really hyped up about AI, like beyond into the hype realm, not to the realism realm, but the hype realm, are simply because for the first time in their life, they're feeling the experience of what it's like to be a good programmer. And that makes them feel something magical. They can't believe you could actually accomplish something with some level of speed.
Young folks don't know that if you move too fast, you'll finish too early and leave behind a big mess.
Absolutely true, Lithium. Very insightful comment. Very happy to have it. And so I think that this feeling of having experience for the first time, like you get to feel like you have a decade and a half of experience when you've only been programming for 2 years. There is something about that I think is probably intoxicating or mesmerizing, right? And so it just feels way more awesome than it actually is. So you live in the realm of delusion for a while because you think that this is a magical experience, which it's not all that magical. There's things about it that are really great. COBOL programmers, quiche eaters ass take. I'm not sure what that means, but COBOL programmers are quiche eaters. They are quiche eaters. They eat a lot of quiche because, brother, they're making like a cajillion dollars. They can afford eggs in this economy, okay? It's crazy. Thank you, Lithium. Appreciate that. Damn quiche. There you go. Quiche is good. Yeah, quiche is delicious. But slap Microsoft marketing label on it and plug it into an IDE of every developer in the org. Now that's innovation, science, progress, profit. I mean, there is a lot of nice parts about Copilot. I mean, again, I like Super Maven significantly more thus far. I found Copilot to be really wrong. It's like Microsoft made a good idea, or I guess GitHub made the good idea, and then after making the idea, they never improved it ever again for any reason ever, and they decided that it would be a terrible idea to make it nicer. And then that's what you get. I don't know what it is. It's crazy. A real co-pilot on a commercial airliner, they know the plane, the systems. They've done the simulations. They go through recertification. And when they speak, it's to enhance the pilot, not to shotgun random advice into the cockpit and inject themselves mid-flight. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Copilot isn't that. It's just a ghost of 1,000 blog posts and a cocky Stack Overflow post whispering, hey, I saw this once with my eyes, which means it's good code. Let's deploy it. Then vanishing when the app hits production and the landing gear won't come down. Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense. I understand what he's saying. What he's saying is that Copilot helps you produce code. It doesn't help you solve the problems in the production of it, which makes sense. I mean, that's by the very nature of Copilot, that makes sense. Right? If you let that ghost fly the plane, you'll deserve the ball of flames you go up in. Truing. But also at the exact same time, the reason why I'm going back to using this again, sweet Super Maven, is because I have to just simply take more time and read all the output. I just don't have to type it as much. Right? There's that. He's talking about Copilot, which is different than LLMs, right? I just have to simply slow down, right? He's not a Copilot. To think of it like a Copilot or to think of it like a junior dev, again, I've told you how much I hate that argument. I think it's extremely incorrect argument. I think it's a bad analogy. I think every part of it is bad. I do not think it is good. Now that I've said that, it is a very fancy code generator that uses statistics to generate code that is likely the finishing part of what you started. Okay? Based on the context around. That's what it is. And if you use it like that, I like the fact that I can type faster because at the end of the day, I want to be able to build the thing I want. That's it. Chapter 2, the props. I really do. But seriously, though, I really do hate this idea of calling LLMs junior, like bad junior programmers. It is just frustrating me to the universe. Let's get one thing straight before I resume torching this synthoid hellspawn with the fury of the sun. It ain't all bad. Even the grifter at the poker table with a boozy lobotomy or a booze lobotomy occasionally hits a flush. And Copilot, well, sometimes it knows a thing or two. It's true. You are young. You've never touched C++. You're starting